Welcome, everybody, to They Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles, and I'm joined, as always, by Josh Lambert, Aaron Peerless, and Tim Johnson. Tim, what are we speaking about tonight?
This movie is so awesome that we're doing another episode about it. From 2009, Dead Snow.
Stay tuned. Tim, please enlighten us with a synopsis for this movie.
A ski vacation turns horrific for a group of medical students as they find themselves confronted by an imaginable menace. Nazi zombies.
Hang on a second. I didn't see a ski or a ski pole in any of this shit.
Well, they had their jet skis.
Yeah.
Skidoos.
Wait.
Ski mountain. That's what the girlfriend was doing.
I was gonna say Sarah. She went like cross country skiing.
Yeah, but we didn't even see Sarah, man.
Well, at the beginning.
Yeah, to start.
At the beginning.
At the beginning.
I guess there's skis on the front of the snowmobile.
Listen, it's a ski vacation, but they're not doing much skiing. They're doing more vacationing.
And tubing.
They're lollygagging around with all the snowmobiles
and zombie killing.
Dudes and
okay, all right.
It's a zombie killing vacation.
In the outhouse.
Banging in the outhouse.
I'm just picking.
Ireland. All right, so yes, we have 8 medical students who go on a very cliched adventure throughout the annals of horror.
Where to, Adam? Where to?
Where are they
to
going?
a remote ski cabin.
There's that word again.
Ski. Ski.
8 college students go to an abandoned cabin in the woods. Interesting.
Wow. That doesn't sound inspired by anything by any means, does it?
To be
Sounds
fair,
awfully unique to me.
they legit have gone above and beyond to say that this movie was inspired by Evil Dead.
100%.
This
Like,
movie,
They
One-
absolutely like.
yeah. This movie is 100% inspired by horror cliches of all types, but Evil Dead is like a main structural component for this movie. This movie literally is entirely self-aware of what it wants to be, which is what makes it a good choice in movies. Whenever I used to do a rated S for shit, like the old segment when I did it originally, it was when a movie took itself too seriously and failed. This movie, if it took itself seriously and the director was like, this is the greatest fucking horror movie ever made, it's a serious horror, I probably would say, you're an idiot, and treat this movie like garbage. But the fact that this movie literally goes above and beyond to pay homage, to deal with the cliches, to include as much as it can, to put all the hidden, signs and Easter eggs for horror movie fans to point out, it is just a compilation of love and cliches for horror in general. And
Yep.
Done? Are you done?
Yeah, Tim. Yeah.
You almost started going on a rated S for shit, but no, it's like you're dead.
And this is not rated S for shit. It is not.
It's rated SS for super shit.
But it also ties in because they're Nazi zombies.
It's funny because they're Nazis, yeah.
It's funny
And the
because they're
Nazis.
Nazis.
Or known as the SS. you
Right.
see.
You
Uh,
got
Very,
it. Huh?
very good
I don't
connection
get
there.
it.
Oh, Josh, I miss that tone when you're explaining jokes. You don't do it very often anymore. Or maybe you do. It's just because I don't see you that much, but I really miss that.
All right. So let's talk about the 8 students here for a moment. So we got Martin,
Who's that?
the unsuspecting Ash hero type. The one who, it is a twist in this movie, who you think is probably not going to be the one that makes it, but ends up being the guy, the final girl guy, as it is, whatever, to make it to the end. Martin. Couple quick things. He's a bit of a dick. The little
Why?
prank that he plays on his girlfriend.
Why?
He's like sitting over top of her going, "Put on the blindfold," and then all of a sudden he gets the fucking pillow, and it's like, is he fucking like, he's smothering her, and she's like freaking out and shit. It's like, what a dick. And he's like, "I was only joking. I wasn't really gonna kill you." She's already having a fucking panic attack and shit. Like, total dick. It's
He looks-
hilarious. Don't get me wrong.
He looks at her like, "Why are you so pissed?"
Exactly. Like, that was a prank, dear. I wasn't really gonna
Just
smother
a
you.
prank, bro.
Yeah.
Just a prank,
Right.
bro.
Yeah. Put the plastic
Um,
bag on my head and hold it there for a while. That'll be a great laugh.
He's also a medical student who has like a real fear of like wounds and blood. Like she cuts herself and he's like, like, I'm gonna lose my leg. It's not funny. But he does end up with the hero. He ends up being the hero, and in a sick twist of fate that very, very much so once again harkens kind of back to Evil Dead. He ends up being killing his girlfriend. So that's, it's kind of interesting the way that the story turns that way. We have Erland. Erland is the Adam of the movie. He is the chubby funny guy that just kind of like is there for comedic humor. It's like, haha, look at the guy. He's chubby and funny. And he's like, is he a ginger? I don't know. But he looks it.
The picture that I'm looking at right now, he does look like a more here. Let me
Like a
bring him up.
clean shaven, well put
No,
together.
no,
Adam.
he's got a beard. He's got a
Clean
beard.
shaven, well put together Adam. Shut up, Josh.
If Adam made different choices in his life,
If Adam was like Norwegian or some shit.
I like this character.
This is the only guy that got some just as he's finished having a shit.
Everybody
That's
else is
the
there.
worst. I was so confused during that scene.
I think I did the dry heave thing. I think I was like,
And oh, you did have a beard.
yeah.
I'm trying to get it so you can
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. It's too
watch
bright.
it.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
But-
washed out.
Put Adam's face there.
Absolutely.
Just put Adam's face there where it doesn't look like it should be, but it should be. All right. So we have Erland. So he's the cut up. He's the Joker. He's the horror movie fanatic that wears the brain dead T-shirt. He's us in this movie. He is the us of this
Absolutely.
movie. And I kind of like that. He's a fun character. He's kind of one of my favorites. Then we have Vegard. So Vegard is he's the one that we think is kind of be the Ash of this movie because he goes through hell. He's the one. His girlfriend Sarah is the one that never comes back. So he goes out on the
Snowmobile.
snowmobile to thank you, Josh. Had a brain fart.
Ski-Doo.
Ski-Doo. He goes out on the Ski-Doo to go find her, and he ends up kind of coming in contact with the Nazis and finding out about the Nazis zombies, and he gets bitten, and he ends up being a badass, throwing the machine gun on the front of the friggin' the Ski-Doo and all that shit. So
Yeah, he's
he kinda-
kick-ass.
he's a bit of a kick-ass character, and he has my second favorite death in the movie, where the zombies just all kind of pull him apart like he's a fucking Christmas turkey. I thought it was fantastic. It was a great little death. But he's who you think is going to be the hero, because it's like he goes through hell and he comes out the other end, and you're kind of like, yeah, this guy's going to help save the day. Nope, he's dead. We have who turns out to be kind of Martin's friend, Roy. He's kind of with Martin throughout the entirety of everything else when the girls go for help and Vegard's gone and Erland's already dead. He's the one that's there doing the massacre on the mountaintop with Martin, and he succumbs to a hammer across the head from Herzog himself. Little bit of a shit way to go. Just kind
Didn't
of
he
like
get his intestines stuck on a tree too?
well, when
Yeah.
when he got hit with the hammer, he
Yeah.
kind of hit the tree,
Right.
and when he kind of rolled backwards, his like intestines were stuck to the tree. So
Yeah.
And didn't they make a reference to that earlier in the film?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think they did.
The weird guy that like came up to him, was talking to him, and said something to the effect of, "Oh, you're a medical student. What are you gonna do when your intestines are sitting out in front of you?"
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mhm.
true. The foreshadowing.
Good one, Josh. Good one. Good catch.
And then we have the girls, Liv and Hannah, who Liv had one of the coolest death scenes in the movie. Not necessarily effects wise, but she turned out to be pretty badass because when she's like lying there getting eaten by the zombies, she pulls out like one of the stick grenades that he has, and she's like basically like a fuck you and sets it off. And I love it
I
because
love
Hannah's
how
like,
they set that scene up, where it's like kind of foggy, and you just she's going in and out of consciousness. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that was.
and then
good.
you see Hannah running, and you can see the explosion and the body parts flying in the background. It's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And obviously we have Hannah, Martin's girlfriend, who she's a weird character. She's actually kind of like my least favorite character in this movie, though.
You're my least favorite character on this show.
Now it's getting personal, Tim.
I don't mean it. No, I see what you mean, but I liked her. She was one of those characters like she had to be there.
She definitely had to be there, I think, to progress the story and stuff.
I'm sorry.
It kind of sucks. It kind of sucks the way that she goes, though.
Adam, you're my favorite character on the show.
I love you too, Tim. I love you too.
You too.
I'm my own favorite, but I'm my own favorite character too, Tim. So you're right.
Okay, good.
And we already talked about Sarah, and then we got Chris, one of the other friends. He's just, he's kind of fodder.
Red shirt. He's a red shirt.
He's a red shirt. He's fodder in this movie. And then we have obviously the doom soothsayer, as he is, the crazy Ralph of this movie, who hates the coffee that he was given.
What a dickhead!
What a
Yeah,
dick
right?
is right.
You
Like,
waltz into these
Who made the
people's
coffee?
cabin, you drink their coffee, you insult them, you
Start
call
telling
them
them-
names, you
Start
drink
telling
their
them.
beer,
Start
Yeah.
telling them weird fucking stories about Nazis.
ghost stories, and spook them out.
Mm.
What an arsehole.
Well, the best was
Go
he
live in
actually.
your tent.
Well,
I
the
would
best was
thank
when
you
he
very
made
much
them
for the
point
hot
out
water.
who. Well,
Right?
I love it when he made them point out who made the coffee. Who made the coffee? It was terrible. It's like just so he could tell it to her face.
Yeah.
Oh man. But he was an interesting character because he's the crazy Ralph. He's the one that's going to help progress the story just a little bit more. He's how the characters know what's going on without knowing what's going on.
Yeah, he's the exposition bearer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, he tells them about the cursed items as they are, the cursed treasure that should be around. He tells them the whole background story and all that beautiful stuff. So, Josh, was this your first time seeing this movie?
It was.
Wow.
I think that we'd really like to hear your notes on it.
We would.
Oh, okay.
All right, keep that monotone. Go.
My first viewing of Dead Snow took place December 6th, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. I'm betting this film didn't take it too seriously based on the opening soundtrack, which I like. The opening title is Dude Snoo. 45-minute walk up the mountain while he zips up on a snowmobile. Dick move, bud.
I was just about to say, Dick.
Yep. Definitely could have took one of the ladies on the back, rode down, went back up, grabbed another one, rode back down. Nope. You guys are hiking 45 minutes. I'm zipping up. What a dick.
Dick.
So Evil Dead references already, along with Friday the 13th, when they message Buddy that wears the Brain Dead shirt, when they're talking to him and they ask him something to the effect of staying in a cabin in the woods, what movie is that like? And he just straight up drops Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Yep.
A group of college students spending a weekend in an old abandoned cabin in the woods. They're playing Sexy Twister.
Sexy Twister. I like how you said that.
Just an Animal. Again, another Evil Dead reference. when the cellar door bursts open, and I think it's Shelly or Linda. I think it's Cheryl. She goes, it's probably just an animal. Who's the arsehole that just comes in, drinks their beer, insults their coffee? Complete arsehole.
Completely.
Especially when you find out he's living in a tent and there's no heater or anything.
The fuck? That's another question I got later on.
I know.
Great neck slice. I don't know what you thought of the neck slice, Aaron.
I thought it was great,
well
man.
done.
I thought it was good. Yeah.
What the fuck? This guy lives in a tent. How do you just live in an orange tent on the top of a mountain, and then you're gonna come in and insult people's coffee and drink their beer? It's like, bro.
It was terrible.
It's like, bro.
Is this a horror film or a 90s snowmobile ad? Because they spent an awful lot of time just zipping around on the snowmobile with some music in the background.
That they did.
Oh shit. Great gore effects on the arsehole in the tent when he's revealed.
Mm-hmm.
This is the point where in real life I think you just get out of Dodge. When you come around and you see this dead guy in a tent, and I go, oh, okay, time to leave. Fuck right off, he's wearing a Brain Dead t-shirt.
Fuck right off.
So excited. Nazi treasure, exclamation point. There are no good jokes which do not contain pee, poo, or sperm. Just a rule to live by.
You wanted to hear
banging,
that joke, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. Banging a dude while he's taking a deuce. That's disgusting. I don't know if this is a cultural difference with these folks that are up in Sweden, living in the cold, and the outhouse is warm, but that's fucking revolting. That's disgusting.
I mean, let's face it, he was done. He was wiped.
Was he?
Well,
They make sure they get the shot with him getting some paper from the paper.
Okay, I didn't notice.
And then he leans over.
I missed that. I thought he was still dropping a deuce while she just climbs up on him.
Dude, it was like
pretty gross.
Yeah, it was like 3 seconds after.
Disgusting.
It absolutely.
Fucking animals.
His anus didn't relax yet. Like,
fell in the shitter like in Sleepaway Camp. I like that they even had like the Sleepaway Camp reference when she was down in the shitter.
Yep.
And as with any good horror story, a boomstick. There's no fucking around, no getting picked off. It's time for war at this point. So they kind of pick off one or two of them, and then it's just all out fucking zombie combat. Damn, they split his head right in half after the iconic eye gouge, which again is another Evil Dead reference.
Yep. I
don't
love the
understand.
split.
Yeah. I don't understand why they are so upset that they aren't around. Like, now's your chance to get out. So they get out of the cabin in the morning, and they're looking around, and the zombies are all gone. They're like, well, where did they go? Listen, bitch, don't worry about it. Just get going. Like,
Bitch, don't worry.
Just go. They had the classic Evil Dead quick cut montage whenever they're like building something, which I love. Sarah's reveal of her gore was super gnarly with like the droopy eye. The Nazi zombie beatdown scene was good. Hanging by the zombie intestines. That's got to earn some creativity points for me. The scene where she gets ripped apart but is still conscious was really good. I really loved how they kind of conveyed that she's coming in unconscious while she grabs the grenade stick. I wrote, just live in that tree for the rest of your life. Eat bird eggs and enjoy worms. This is your life now.
What's up with that crow, man? That crow is... That crow
beating the crow to death is definitely more suspicious than a crow cawing. The Nazi zombies would have been like, there's a crow. That happens. Hearing a crow get bashed against a tree and then dropping the crow's corpse, yeah, that's suspicious. I laughed so hard when he threw the Molotov cocktail and it landed in the cabin.
Yeah, I know.
Because that would be me.
It was a very
With my
Shaun of the
zero
Dead
depth
scenario.
perception. It's like, okay, I got a great idea. I got a Molotov cocktail. I'm gonna burn these bastards down.
This is
And-
Josh's moment to shine.
Yeah,
He's just-
smash right against the
music-
wall.
The music's
Well,
playing.
shit.
Somebody yelling in the background, Josh, open your eyes before you throw that.
Oh, I loved it. It killed me. You waited until now to call the emergency number. Third day, too, getting mauled, seeing half their friends killed by zombies, and they're like, oh, well, we should call 911. The chainsaw, another Evil Dead reference. And then another Evil Dead quick cut montage. This film is so Raimi inspired, it borders on infringement. Sewing his neck together with a fishing line, very good scene.
Brutal.
Definitely gave me the cringe. Another quick cut montage, just in case you forgot this film was an Evil Dead tribute. Is she going to do the spit trick when she's underneath? She didn't, which I don't really understand. Why not? Kind of.
Well, she did have a runny nose,
I saw that.
so that was kind of working in her favor.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I feel like they shouldn't have had that conversation if they weren't going to use it. The arm popping out of the ground, another Evil Dead reference. When the arm pops up out of this. No. Oh fuck. Zombie disembowel. Chainsaw disemboweling Nazi zombies. The snowmobile on top of the zombie was just like the lawnmower in Brain Dead.
Mm-hmm.
They tore him limb to limb, literally. And then they wrote, did he just accidentally axe her? He did. And then I just wrote, boss fight. The pile of guts that dropped from him was completely vile and disgusting.
Right on his face, like it.
Oh, just vile.
I know.
Brilliant.
Fuck right off. He's gonna chainsaw his hand off. Followed by another quick cut montage to cauterize his arm. And then you got the old bite in the dick.
He got bit in the dick, and then he thinks about doing it with the chainsaw, like cutting it. And he's like,
Cuts over
"No,
the chainsaw.
no, I can't
And
do it."
I love how his buddy was like, yeah, man, chop your arm off. You don't want to turn into a zombie. But when he gets bit in the dick, he's like, nah, brah, nah.
Nah, it's too much.
Like-
Too much. Don't do it.
I'll just take it. I'll just be a zombie.
That killed me.
Yeah, it was good.
At this point, I realized the main evil Nazi even kind of looked like Evil Ash with the exposed
With the-
bottom jaw.
The bottom
Yeah.
jaw, yeah.
I wrote, my last note here was just, he was just misunderstood. He just wanted his treasure back. It's just his rightfully pillaged Nazi treasure.
His rightfully pillaged Nazi treasure.
I love this fucking movie. I ain't even gonna lie.
I could tell you had some real energy with your notes tonight, Josh. I like
Yep.
this. It's gonna
Loved
be a
it.
good final review tonight too.
Hi everybody, this is Vincent DeSanti, the writer and director of Friday the 13th fan film Never Hike Alone, and you are listening to the great commentary of They Cast from the Coast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out Never Hike Alone, which is streaming for free on YouTube right now.
Aaron,
Yeah.
talk to us about the effects in this movie.
Well, I mean, there were so many effects in this movie that I'm not going to go into great detail over every single one of them because it was just up to the one quarter of the movie, it was just like, okay, they're setting it up, here we go, and then mayhem happened, and it's like it's on, right? Opening sequence, kind of an indirect effect. Let's cut. This is just. I've got some of my own notes like put in here in between the effects, but I'm like, let's cover someone's face right up as a joke, and be like, I'm just joking. Feels exactly like they copied Evil Dead. It does. I'm like, this has every reference to every. I mean, it. I don't think there was one thing that stood alone. that didn't have some sort of reference to another movie or whatever. Um,
Accurate.
yeah. So they get the shotgun going, and they pull that thing down. Obviously, they're med students or whatever, so they're not going to know exactly how to use a shotgun. And they were kind of looking at it all like that. Finger right in the trigger, right? Just right in the trigger. Like, let's just hang it right in there. It's like, no, you wouldn't want to be around somebody that does that. You always want to
No,
lay
but
your
that's accurate. Right?
Well, I mean, if somebody doesn't know how to use it and they're cocking the thing and they're like, yeah, finger in the trigger. All right, you're going to blow somebody's head off and it's not going to be one of the zombies.
Oops.
Decent slit throat effect. It happened so fast.
Very good.
And he was wearing his costume up pretty high. And, like it was a very quick kind of thing. And then he dips his head back and you see it. And it's great. I didn't see any flaws with that. I thought that was a really good. And then he tumbles back and makes his way back to so it wasn't super deep, but it was deep enough where it probably nicked the arteries or whatever. And he's trying to make it back to the tent for whatever reason. Not that that's any safer than fabric walls. You know what I'm saying? When he died in the tent and the camera was kind of panning and it shows him and then pans back and the coloration that he's got from being there for a while, it was like a purplish blue. I think they nailed that. I really like that. Like, he was there, he was frozen for a while. He's not really decomposing. He's freezing because his body's not generating any thermal energy anymore. Nice Brain Dead t-shirt. I love that. I love that reference. I was like, that's pretty cool. Here's a reference that I don't know if any one of you guys picked up on, but when they were saying fortune and glory.
Oh, Indiana Jones, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it written down right here.
And you notice
Right?
they said it in English?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Temple of Doom. Yeah, Temple of
Yeah,
Doom,
Temple
right?
of Doom,
So
buddy.
that took me, I was like, that was Temple of Doom right there. They put some Indiana Jones into this along with the Evil Dead stuff, right? That's cool, Tim. You picked up on that. I'll be back scene made me laugh. So when Erlen was going to use the shitter and he's like, I'll be back. I actually
Well, that's how they've learned all their English.
Right,
from
yeah.
American movies.
From an Austrian actor. Right?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Nothing like screwing on a toilet right after you shit. I had
That's
to put
fucking revolting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Decent zombie hand reveal. Looked like it was like latex and cotton when you first see one of the Nazi hands down and grabbing something out of the snow, right? It looked like that's what they were doing, but it was a pretty quick shot, but it made the point what they were trying to do there. I made a note here that I hate fast zombies because I absolutely fucking can't stand fast zombies. I just can't get my mind around it. If they've been dead for so long, then shit starts to break down, right?
But did you feel that way towards these guys?
Well, you know what? I figured that maybe the thought that went through my head on that, that's a good question, Tim, was that, the Nazis were up to some pretty crazy scientific shit. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to give
these
this the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe,
No.
you know how you got these other movies?
No.
These are supernatural zombies. These aren't medical virus zombies.
That's true. So all
Hitler
these,
was all about the fucking occult and
yeah, exactly.
immortality and weird occult stuff. These
I'll-
are zombies that are.
I'll give it a little sidestep, just a little. But I still am going to make it known that I hate fast zombies. I really do. I think there's power in numbers. You get overwhelmed, right? Nice shot with the severed head in the window. I like how they held her head up in the window.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, hey. And then they pulled it up and it's severed and thrown aside. I thought that was a really cool effect. There's quite a bit of indirect effects where the slice is coming through and then they cut and then you see blood and things like that. But they made up for it with all the other practical effects that they did, right? So it's like they didn't want to spend too much time on every single effect, which is okay. I mean, that'll carry the movie through as well. Erlen's death looked pretty good. Nice detail with the brain falling on the ground and splatting.
Yep.
The brain was like a dark purple-ish. Could have been a little bit lighter pink or whatever, but I mean, I thought it was really good when it splatted on the ground. I'm like, okay, yeah, ripped apart. that whole scene looked pretty good. There was a lot of cuts going on right there as well, kind of like in previous movies that we've kind of gone through. It cuts, and then the head's there, and they pull it apart really fast. They don't spend a lot of time camera-wise on it, but it does get the point across, and you're like, ugh, it's kind of cringeworthy. The continuity throughout the whole film is actually pretty good with the blood on the females, like Liv and stuff. She always had that blood that was
Right where it was, yeah.
right where it was, and to me it seemed like it didn't move, but throughout the whole, like after she gets splattered with it, it seemed like it was staying right where it needed to stay, and it, for me, it continued that continuity for me absolutely 100%. I thought that was fantastic continuity and nice look at the nice to keep that level like that. I hate seeing when shit changes. I can't
You
stand
want to
it.
know what I hate? I hate that talking to you has made me hyper aware of this shit, and I'm watching movies, and that's all I can see. That's what I hate.
I do the same thing to myself, Tim, man. And sometimes I'm like, why did I even get into this stuff? I'm ruining shit for myself.
Like, I
Right.
just want to enjoy the movie. No,
I know.
that's not the right spot anymore.
I don't see any of it. He'll I can hear Aaron go on about a movie and it has 10,000 discrepancies and failures to follow continuity. I don't spot a single one of them.
I
My
noticed
squinty little
continuity is
eyes
one of
don't
my
see
big
that
things.
shit.
Continuity is one of my big things that I tend to, just because you want the effect to look good and you want it to you know,
course.
bring the movie alive, and then when you see it move, like you see a mole move or something, you're like, what? That doesn't look right. Creepy severed head in cave. So Sarah's head. Yeah, I thought that was almost like it. It made me flash back to like The Ring in the
Yeah.
closet, where it's like
That quick
right?
flash
The
scene.
eye,
Yeah.
and the eyes droopy and things like that, right? I thought that the zombie that came up out of that cave was kind of cheesy, but I mean, maybe it was supposed to be. And I found that the makeup on the first reveal of that Nazi zombie was kind of muddy a little bit. I thought like the highs should have been just accented just a little bit more to make his eyes sink in, and it was really muddy. And I was like, oh man, that could have looked quite a bit more creepy and a little more, you know, like a really crazy looking Nazi zombie. But I mean, on the grand scale of things, there was a lot of makeup that they were doing in this, and they decided to choose that one to go forward. Okay, you know, maybe a good decision, maybe a bad decision. I picked up on it. I was like, okay, whatever. We'll keep watching and see what happens. Dangling by an intestine. So I
Over the
know that
cliff.
we're watching horror flicks, and I know we're picking them apart a bit and
Are
things like
you
that. But
really
do you know
about to sit here and tell me a movie about zombie Nazis is unrealistic because you can't hold on to fucking intestines? Is that where you're going with this?
you know how slippery that thing is?
Yeah, that's it. That's where he's going. He's going.
I
with it.
am, man. That thing's slippery. I mean, they're
Yeah?
covered in a certain mucus.
Yeah?
surrounding
Yeah,
your
what
body.
happens when that mucus gets cold, bro? It's like licking a pole. You're gonna stick to that sucker.
What? You're
Where the
saying, like,
viscosity
your
helps you
hands stick to it?
hold, it
Your
provides
hands are
grip.
stuck
Yeah.
to- I don't know. That thing would be super slippery, man. Unless you did that little leg hold
That's
thing.
like
to-
holding a rope stuck in maple syrup. You're gonna stick right to it.
There is some sort of lubrication around your intestines so that you can move your body around. So it's going to be
Yeah.
slippery.
And then if it sits there for fucking 40 years because they're Nazis and they're zombies, that lubrication ain't there no more.
Well, you know what? This is going to be something that we disagree with for the rest of our lives.
Wow.
And I'll bring it up.
There's going to be a callback.
Yeah. You remember that time?
There's no way he could have hung on those intestines.
I can't even read
Sir,
my notes.
this is his funeral.
Pure white suits. I didn't understand that. And you better not bring something up about intestines and shit that I just mentioned. But the pure white suits, like how
It's
old
snow
are these
camo.
guys? Yeah, but where did they put these suits? Like in a locker in the cave to keep them that white?
Maybe.
Like I didn't understand that part. I wish they were just a little bit dirty. Like they were
He probably got them out of the tent from the weird dude.
Well, they didn't explain it. Intestine Man.
Use your imagination.
Hot foam or gelatin prosthetics. That's what I saw throughout this whole thing. They didn't use the phone earlier. That really kind of threw me off. I was like, why didn't they just use the phone earlier to make an emergency call, like you said, Josh? Right? And then the battery went dead. It's like, well, if they would have used it yesterday, they would be fine. No, that's a sled upgrade with the big gun on the front of it. Buddy gets his body torn apart. It was kind of cheesy, but it followed along the same premise of the movie, which kind of added to it. I loved it, but you could tell it was like mannequin legs and stuff that they just kind of fixed up to make it look like. That's the way that I looked at it. It looked like pieces of a mannequin being pulled apart. Right. The tree scene had two zombies at the base of it to get the chick in the tree. One of the zombies' hands, when he's climbing, is completely flesh toned.
Yeah,
Did anybody else see that?
Yeah, normal looking hand.
He was climbing up, and it was completely it was normal. It was just it wasn't dead. It wasn't discolored. It wasn't anything. It was just a normal.
At least put a glove on him.
Yeah. I caught that. I don't think it would take that long to cut through an arm with a chainsaw. That was, another thing. Intestine caught on a tree was awesome. Herzog's skull.
What about the viscosity of the intestine? It wouldn't stick to the tree. It would have slid right off.
I feel like Josh was mocking you there, Aaron.
He was.
I could be wrong. But I feel like that was an absolute mocking tone.
Hey, I'm all about realism, and that wasn't real.
Realism. Back to the zombies.
But to be fair, Aaron, I don't think there was Nazi zombies either.
Shut up, Tim. Okay, so Herzog's skull, he's wearing that forge cap, and he's got that skull up there. I noticed that every time I saw it, one time it was crooked, next time it was straight, next time I saw him, it was crooked again, and I'm like, really?
Herzog, get your shit together.
Yeah. Like,
Herzog.
it's in German, and you got to have your uniform in pristine order. Doesn't matter if you have rotten flesh come off. At least keep that thing straight, right? And those are my notes. Are there any questions, my young apprentice?
I believe
Those are some good
covered
notes. I believe we covered everything too. Yes.
But yeah, throughout the
man.
whole show, it was like hot foam, and it would have been bliss to work on this if it was chilly out, because they could apply that. The actors could be, outside. You wouldn't have to worry about heat problems, sweat, that kind of thing. It would have been absolutely a dream to apply that stuff. I don't know what kind of accommodations they had up on the side of a mountain or whatever, but if they had that cabin, they could just reside in there. And yeah, it would have been a pretty cool shoot to be on board with all the blood, the contrast between the blood and the snow and that kind of thing. So I thought it was a pretty cool movie myself.
Nice. Yeah. It was definitely up there. Definitely up there. Tim,
Yeah.
you know what time it is?
Yeah,
You know what time it is?
I do.
Trivia time with Tim.
I used double energy there. Okay. The Nazi zombies in this film are a combination of typical zombies in popular culture, but also ancient Norse mythical beings known as the Draug. A Draug is an undead being who would inhabit graves, often the graves of important men, and as they often had treasures in them, a Draug would protect these treasures as if they were their own.
Like Skyrim.
I was just going to say that. A Draugr. Yeah.
The original name was going to be Red Snow, as in tribute to the Swedish-Norwegian miniseries of the same name. This film's main trailer shows black and white World War II archived footage, including battleships parachuting, a command room featuring Adolf Hitler, and all that stuff. But this material was not actually seen in the movie. The character of Erland wears a T-shirt featuring the words "Brain Dead" in
Sure
English.
does.
His demise at the hands of zombies is exactly the same as the first zombie kill in the low-budget, brain-dead movie from 1992. The zombie gouges the victim's eyes and splits his skull in half, which I thought was cool. When fighting the zombies at the end, Roy holds up a hammer and a sickle.
Hey,
It's
that's
kinda
funny because
That
that's the symbol for communism, of which Nazis were pretty keen on.
They were
Hammer.
pretty keen on it.
It's kind of their thing. It was kind of
Those
their
keys.
thing.
Keen on that.
Kind of their thing, isn't it?
Early on in the film, Hannah claims that she's claustrophobic. But later, she's buried under the snow under an avalanche.
Pretty much all the deaths are foreshadowed,
Yeah.
which I really like.
One character asked Roy if medical school taught him what to do if his intestines were pulled out. This happens to Roy near the end of the film.
Foreshadow.
Foreshadow. We're going to switch it up to a little bit of goofs.
Go ahead to the goofs.
So this is a character error. Chris claims the movie April Fool's Day was made in 1984, when in fact she's off by 2 fucking years.
That's not a character error. She's just wrong.
Yeah, that's the
It's a
character.
goof.
It's is an error.
Yeah, but
she's
that's
erring?
because the guy's like proving that he's more knowledgeable than her.
Hey, this is a shout out to my boy Aaron. The skull badge on Colonel Herzog's hat changes from crooked to straight throughout the movie.
I'm not the only one that noticed it. And intestines are slippery, just so everybody knows.
Not
This is also a shout out to my boy Aaron. When one of the zombies climbs in a tree, one can clearly see the hand is skin colored and not greenish as it was supposed to be. All the zombies are greenish in skin color. When the zombies rip one of the men apart, it's very obvious that his legs are holding. The legs they're holding are from a mannequin. One of the
It's like
zombies.
I read this thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's
One
like
of
you
the
wrote
zombies-
it.
Will you let me speak it?
You may proceed.
One of the zombies, one of the two chasing the girl up the tree, is wearing a white snow camouflage jacket. The jacket shows plastic parts, which is completely made out of plastic. Whoever wrote this is an idiot. Which can only be found on modern day jackets. Maybe this zombie took it away from an earlier victim, but all the others wear original war gear that was supposed to be, World War II. And this was way too modern. Herzog is described and credited as a colonel. However, he wears a cap with a, I'm not even going to try to butcher that, an insignia.
That is not for a colonel.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's got the wrong insignia on it. Or he's credited the wrong rank. And that's all the shit I got to say about that.
Triviatomatim, including goofs. Excellent. All right. We're going to do some final reviews here. So tonight I'm going to go first. I wish I could share the same sentiments as everybody, but nobody's gone yet. So allow me to start fresh.
Oh boy.
This movie holds up. So we reviewed this movie like 3 years ago, Tim, when we did it.
We reviewed it. This was going to be part of my trivia, but I forgot to say it. We visited this movie all the way back on March 2nd, 2017. It was episode 15. And what's fucking cool is, what episode is this, Adam?
115.
It's almost
150.
did it on purpose, but we didn't. I assure you.
It rhymes. It always comes back around.
We shit you not, it was totally by accident. 100 episodes later, and we're talking about the same friggin' movie. Then again, the original episode, we also reviewed part 2 all in the same, so it's all good. But still, Dead Snow. There we go. 100 episodes later, 3 and some odd years, and I still like this movie a lot. The movie holds up. It's well done. It is a movie that follows the cliches of horror. It doesn't take itself seriously. It in fact has fun with the characters, with the dialogue, the scenarios, the blood, the guts, the gore, the slippery intestines, whatever the fuck you want to say. It's all there, and it's all fun, and it's all there for the horror fans to enjoy. It was made shoestring budget, you can tell, compared to a lot of movies, but there's love in this movie. This is the kind of movie that was made, written, directed, produced, basically by the fans for the fans. You can feel that. The energy is there with this movie. And there's a good reason why the guy went on to do some other things and then come back to it for a sequel later, which we'll talk about another day, but you know, the sequel.
Spoiler next episode.
Spoiler. Come back to see what we think of the sequel, apparently. Let's see here. Cliches. Once again, we talked about this. Cabin in the woods, isolation, no phone, student aged people. There's omens and warnings. It's all there. I agree. The first time that I ever seen this, I was kind of like, I'm not a huge fan of fast zombies either, Aaron. I will say that too. But after kind of going through this, I realized that there is a supernatural aspect to this. Obviously, they're not just zombies for the sake of being zombies. Like we were talking about, they're Draug characters or wraiths type of characters. They're drawn to something that belonged to them in life, as it were, and they're drawn in death to recover this. So it's interesting that way, or protect it. So I kind of take it as that, and I can kind of enjoy it a little bit more in that way. And who doesn't love a good wartime zombie type of creature character? You've got some really good ones like Overlord, which me and Tim have always had some good love for.
Loved it.
Frankenstein's Army is fun, and in fact, the original short films of Frankenstein's Army are based on Worst Case Scenario, or some of the best fucking effects work in a short film you'll ever see. So if you've never seen it, Aaron, Worst Case Scenario, you need to look them up. You'll like it.
Okay.
And I love this stuff. So to throw all of our favorite cliches from horror movies into one mix and just throw a bunch of blood and guts at it, it's fun. It is truly a fun movie. And I love the cliffhanger type ending in this movie too. I thought it was great the way that they did it. All in all, this movie kind of tickles all the right notes. It sits well with me. And my mind still hasn't changed. And in terms of how we rate things nowadays, I'm going full R. It is recommended. This movie is recommended, folks.
Doing full R.
Full R.
I share many of the same sentiments.
Thank you. Love
because
you
it needed to be said. Yeah, I loved this movie 3 years ago. I technically loved this movie 5 years ago when I first watched it. I feel like this is very much the kind of movie that I would make if I was able to make a movie, where it's taking something that I love, or a bunch of different things that I love, and throwing it all together in a pot, and this is what I produced. It was just the right amount of like everything, and like you said, Adam, it didn't have the biggest budget, but what it lacked in money, it made up for in love. They made this movie with their hearts. I love the setting. I feel this movie cashed in, obviously, on the Call of Duty Nazi zombie craze.
Of course.
That was, around the time it was made back in 2009. I loved it. There's not really that much that I can say that I haven't already said in the last one. I thought the effects work was great. I thought the nods to Evil Dead and other forms of pulp culture were great. Aaron brought up the Indiana Jones quote that was said in English, and that was like, yeah, these guys are like us, right?
Yeah.
I thought the acting was pretty good for the type of movie it was. Yeah, I liked it. I really liked it. first time I watched it, I wasn't expecting it to go full Evil Dead like it did. Like the Raimi quick shots. I was like, damn, they're doing it. And then like he's cutting off his hand, and then this, and I was like, holy shit! Like, yeah. I love this movie. I am also going to give it a R.
Nice.
Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a roller coaster ride. This one, I think I share the same sentiments.
Yes.
Look what I've started.
I know. That word's never leaving this situation. But I guess when I first saw this, I'm like, are they ripping off Evil Dead? And I was getting a little disappointed. I got a little disappointed thinking that that's exactly what was going on. Initially, for the first, I don't know, half hour into it, I'm like, man, like, why couldn't they just do what they do and make their own film? And, but, when you look at something like that and you, just like what we're huge fans of Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, that kind of thing, Ash versus Evil Dead. If you're big fans with a movie and you love it so much and you want to make a movie that kind of shines when it comes to that kind of thing, then go for it, man. And put your little nuances into it, put your little one-liners into it, have the shirts displayed, and they did it all right. And after about an hour of watching this, that's what I felt. I felt like, it wasn't a situation where they were trying to recreate the Evil Dead, but they were trying to put it up on a pedestal, kind of like the gold idol in Indiana Jones, I guess.
Look what you did right there.
You like that? You
Yeah.
like that? But they that's. With this, I think they were giving it an homage, and it was a different way of looking at it. Instead of having the Deadites, they had the Nazis, right? And I love that stuff. I'm a huge World War II buff. I loved history when it came around. That stuff, didn't like what obviously what the wars were about and things, but I find myself looking at documentaries and things like that when it comes to the Nazis. And of course, Indiana Jones does have the battle between the good and the bad as well, which involves the Nazis, right?
Absolutely.
So I love the fight between good and evil like that, and fighting against tyranny. And I got that little feeling after a while when I was watching this film. I love the blood and guts. This again is a heavy effects film, with just a couple little mistakes here and there. And if you're not watching it and you're not completely in tune with every little movement, then you won't catch those little problems that we threw out there. And I think, you know what? If you sit down, you watch this, you're going to have a blast doing it. If you like reading captions. A lot of people don't like watching a movie when you've got to read the dialogue. I know a lot of friends of mine don't like that. They just like to sit down and listen and not read. They want to pay attention to what's going on screen. And that in some ways does take away from all the effects work, especially when you're, you don't live around there and you don't understand the language. But you know what? There was so many cool effects and everything going on in this film that if you did miss some, you're still going to see a whole bunch of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it was
100%.
that type of movie that lent itself to
Right.
You might not speak the language, but you knew what they were saying. Like,
Right.
You
Like,
don't
when
need
it-
subtitles for
it-
ah.
with the subtitles going. Like, I don't mind watching a film with subtitles. I honestly have never minded doing that stuff. So yeah, you know what? I'm giving this an R. I'm giving this an R, and I'm going to give it an R because it's got awesome effects in it. Some of the stuff is a little muddy, but you know what? They did a
You did
fantastic.
this on a mountain.
That's what I'm
Aaron.
saying, right? I know, and intestines are slippery.
Okay. 40-year-old Nazi zombie intestines are not slippery.
40, Josh. 40-year-old.
Well,
A little
they're-
more than 4.
when did
World War
they
II didn't
die?
happen in 1979.
No, but when did the Nazis die? They've been hiding out in that cave for a while. They probably didn't die right when World War II ended.
Whatever. Josh, please proceed with your finals and your review for us.
I adored this film. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was eating it up with a spoon. I was like, oh yeah, more Raimi references. Give me some more. Give me some more.
Pump it into the vein.
Oh yeah. And Buddy's wearing the brain dead shirt. I was like, oh yes. And then he gets the snowmobile and he blows his face off with the snowmobile just like he did with the lawnmower and brain dead. I was like, more. And there's some flash shots and then they chop his arm off with a chainsaw. And then the boss fight. The boss fight when there's like 100 Nazi zombies just swarming them and they're swinging a hammer and they're chopping them up with the chainsaw. It was beautiful. This movie is going to receive the highest rank. I'm going to give this movie, which has subtitles, which previously has stopped excellent movies from reaching this rank. This movie deserves an X.
Woo!
And I gotta put it on that top shelf. And here's the problem: that top shelf only fits 7 movies, so now I gotta create another top shelf to double up. So now this shelf has to fit more than 7 movies.
Well, better get a bigger shelf.
I'm gonna need a bigger shelf.
This
IKEA, man.
I absolutely adored this film.
This movie now sits in the halls of honor with Josh.
The top shelf, and it also, you know, it's a foreign film. It is the first foreign film to reach that top shelf.
Wow.
Glad we talked about this tonight.
I'm happy that we did too, because Josh is like, oh, this is why we were kind of like, yeah, maybe we'll do this another night. Josh is like, we already watched it. We're talking about it. He had all this emotion to get out. This is wonderful, Josh.
I adored this film.
And you know what, Josh? You definitely need to hook yourself up with that poster, because that would look so good in your that would look good in your collection there, bud.
Yeah.
The poster is dope. The movie is dope.
In the basement Barron building, all the X-rated films are going to have a poster.
The movies that he has given X ratings to, not actual X-rated films, folks. I don't think the wife would appreciate that. Deep Throat. What kind of a basement is this? I'm scared. Yeah. All right. Excellent. So we have an excellent and 3R ratings for a movie that is absolutely thoroughly enjoyable, and I can't wait to talk about the sequel with you guys. So
it better not suck.
I'm kind of nervous now for Josh to watch. I'm kind of nervous for Josh to watch Red versus Dead. Like I'm scared that he's gonna, because the Raimi references I felt were more in the first one.
They are more in the first one. The second one's still a cliched horror movie, but it's like the first one's cliched to the Evil Dead side more than anything in the sequel. Well, you'll see, Josh. You'll see.
It's not bad. I liked it. It's a good sequel.
I like it a lot.
It does everything that a sequel should do. It continues the story, ups the stakes. But it's not on a mountain anymore with a cabin of like 8 medical students. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little different.
But it ups the friggin' violence and gore.
It ups it a little bit. Like,
it does up everything a little bit. It's like Crank.
I haven't seen it either, so I don't...
Good call. It is like Crank.
It is. It's like Crank, man. Like, it goes friggin' nuts and balls out in the sequel. It's good. All right, so we're going to have fun with that one next time, folks. So please do stay tuned, and thank you very much for joining us tonight when we have revisited the wonderful Dead Snow, or Dead Snow as it is, and enlightened Josh and Aaron with yet another great movie that they can add to the wonderful world of horror that they now are knowledgeable on. So thank you for joining us. Check us out on Facebook, Misunderstood Our Company. Like, share, and subscribe. We're also on YouTube. Misunderstood Our Company. Like, share, and subscribe. We produce audio copies of all of these episodes on all the major podcasting platforms, including but not limited to Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music. We're also on Patreon. Open up your hearts and your wallet. Time to buy Tim that coffee. And
please.
And until next time, Josh.
There are no good jokes that which do not contain pee, poo, or sperm.
Well said. Aaron.
Remember, folks, when you're dangling off a cliff, don't grab onto a slippery intestine. You will definitely fall to your death.
Slip. Tim!
Stay safe. Stay spooky.
And until next time, see you later, folks.
Good night.